So it's great to see you in person.
Yeah, nice to see you too, man. I see that you're plugging away. Love what you're doing in the podcast arena, offering a lot of value
Appreciate that.
to the local realtors. How's the feedback from that so far?
Oh man, we're looking at basically calling those the unicorn years of during the pandemic because we're never going to see anything like that. It's never going to be like that again. It's people, myself, who came into the industry just before, so I got to experience like as a newbie the whole pandemic. So like that's all I know. But so now that it's like slowing down, people are like, the veterans are like, this is what it's usually like. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And seeing the people that can be able to pivot, veterans that know what they're doing, that are actually able still out there, going to get it instead of waiting for stuff to come to them. The ones that seem to fail are the ones that are sitting around waiting, for things to just happen, work out for them.
right.
Felt that way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, with so many world events going on right now that are affecting your guys' industry, from both the real estate side and the financing side, it's got to be a crazy time. I mean, I was in real estate 2006, 2009, so I rode that wave. I remember how crazy that was, but it was a little bit more predictable in the sense that we knew it was a bubble and it was going to burst. So we just wrote it, knowing with the exit strategy in mind. But right now, there's so many outside factors from everything that's really kind of telling you guys are daily waking up to news that is affecting your marketplace, and so that's gotta be fun. But that's why they say adapt or die, right? Gotta adapt.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm just, trying to learn something new every day. There's a lot that I don't know
Yeah,
because it's like you said, like there's always something new, something always changing. So especially with the market, interest rates, whatever it may be. So it's like
right.
always having, have your hand on the pulse of the market always helps.
Yeah, and you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It's just that those are times of the past, like you said, pre-COVID. That's what the world has changed, and so you need to. I think to reach any type of success, you're going to have to get really good at stepping outside of your comfort zone and just make that, and that's always been the case. But I think now more than ever, with so many people, losing their jobs and all the different things going on, it's like you got people that have been doing a certain thing for 30 years and there's a big learn to code push. It's like all these people that have spent their whole life in a skill or a trade, they've been forced to adapt. And it's like, it's sad because they're like deer in headlights. They never saw it coming when in actuality, like, everything's temporary and you kind of have to treat it that way. You have to, I was sort of, you have to work and fight like there's somebody working and fighting to take it all away from every single day. So
Right.
that's kind of that's kind of the person you have to have, especially in the real estate market or any type of entrepreneurship side. But yeah, it's getting crazy out there.
Right.
Definitely is.
I like how you put that though, because it's like you kind of put it into like a competition mentality or sports mentality where like someone's right behind you trying to take your job.
Right.
Like if you put it in that way, then you're always pushing, you're always grinding, you're always, take the next step or get better yourself instead of getting comfortable. And that's a we're also easy. The easy thing to do is just get comfortable and
Right.
just stay where you are and getting uncomfortable. So
Right. And yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with Patrick Bet David, but he has a book, Choose Your Enemies Wisely. And him, and then kind of going on with something that Andrew Tate talks about. They talk about choosing your enemy wisely. And really, for me personally, my enemy is a greater version of myself. You know what I mean? And I fight him every single day, whether I'm at the gym, whether I'm on the phone making sales calls, whether I'm in a meeting, whether I'm interacting with kids, whether I'm working on spirituality, whenever it is, I'm going against a better version of myself. And I've never been real competitive, but I've always been into sports. And so I know I have that competitive side. And so, that's a good way for me personally to draw that competitive side out and, not face anybody else. I don't really care what anybody else is doing. I just care what that better version. And we all know that better version. We all know, what we're capable of and what we're actually doing, what I mean? So that's going to help me bring it into perspective on what my fight is, who my enemies are.
point. I like that.
Yeah,
Especially, what battling yourself because it's always like, you shouldn't worry about. everybody else, it's always you, and, like, you're always thinking because there's always, like, that good and bad side of you, like, you always wanna do the good things and always wanna do the things that you should be doing, but it's so easy to not, so,
Right.
I hear what you're saying for sure.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let's do this. I apologize. I always jump the gun. Let's just do a quick intro. Introduce yourselves. Just give us a little background of who you are and why you're here today.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Kenny Jordan. I own a marketing company called Newcast Media. We do online marketing, any type of advertising, traditional, social media, basically all things marketing and advertising. And so before that, I did real estate for about 4 years, and before that, I did loans for about 3 years. Before that, I just kind of had any job you can imagine. Man, I did a lot of different jobs, and always chasing money. Always had that entrepreneurial spirit. Um, so now I'm just running my company. I'm working on a book, writing a book, and so it's been kind of a fun experience for me, and I definitely recommend it for everybody from a life story standpoint. It's really helped me
Yeah.
it's really opened my eyes to a lot of fallacies that I have about my own past. You know what I mean? Because I know I never
Okay.
met my dad, and I grew up with my mom addicted to meth. But as I'm
Oh wow.
really kind of going through, being homeless and all these different things, like I think that we tend to our victim mentality kind of tends to take over, and we tell ourselves this narrative. And as I'm really looking at the timeline and breaking it out, I was finding that it really wasn't as bad as I've made it seem to myself my entire life. You know what I mean? And whether it be that it's very interesting, and I'm kind of having a paradigm shift in the sense that I'm just kind of seeing that, maybe I kind of misconstrued a lot of different things. Maybe I embellished different things. But it's just hard. And obviously, you know what follow your memories, but it's kind of cool to really kind of look at that. And even if you're the only one who ever reads it, if you never publish it, it's kind of like leaving a journal, but it helps you kind of really touch base with the childhood. Most of us have some type of trauma, some type of age that we're stuck in. So for me, it's kind of helped shed light on what that age is, so that when I do talk with a therapist, I can kind of delve more into that particular section. Why I'm that 9-year-old boy or whatever. So it's really kind of
Okay.
it's been a great self reflection process. So yeah, the book basically it's called Fatherless Father, and I'm essentially writing two books. And Fatherless Father is basically just like my life. Basically, it's just fatherless father, and it's just going to be my life, and kind of how that ties into um the other book. And the first one, that one I probably won't publish, but what I'm designing is I would say like a self help, home improvement, or self improvement book, but more along the lines of like the question I've always had is like how do I be a good? I've always wanted to be a good father. Like from day one, it was the one thing that the world didn't provide me that I can give back to the world without pay. You know what I mean? So always very important to me. But there's no manual. You know what I mean? And so how do you raise a son or a daughter when you were never raised? And it's always been kind of, it doesn't just come natural. It's something that you really learn, growing up watching. And so I'm kind of basically just creating a book to help people in the same situation that are trying to accomplish, whether it be something huge like fatherhood, or whether it be smaller, just, without having guidance and somebody to show them. Obviously, you have resources and stuff you can tap into, but at the end of the day, there's not going to be somebody holding your hand. The two footprints alongside you on the beach metaphor type thing, and what mentality that takes to overcome things with that upbringing, and then how we can get that within ourselves without having to be raised. You know what I mean? How we can find it. And I'm essentially still in, like I said, the first 30 pages of that book, 50 of the actual book. And so much is going to change as I kind of organize my thoughts. But I just know that I have so much information. I've been a student on this for so long, and I've been an entrepreneur since I was 9. And so I have so much information to provide. And a lot of times, I because I watch this stuff, I listen to stuff, I've always thought, I suck. But when I'm talking to people, just regular people, it's always, I'm telling them stuff that's profound to them, but I always think it's just kind of common sense. You know what I mean? So I've always, because I surround myself with circles that are smarter than me, I've always thought, well, I don't belong in that realm because I'm down here with these people. But then when I talk to these people, they're not thinking that. You know what I mean? So now I'm kind of stepping up into that next level. And some I can cut me off if I talk too much, but um,
No, no.
okay. And some like you with this podcast as well, and that Patrick that Dave talks about it as well, is embracing the suck. You know what I mean? Um, right now, I suck at writing books. I've never written one. Right now, I suck
Sure.
at articulating my thoughts. I have all these thoughts and different things around success, however you determine that, is in business and in life and spirituality, all these different things. Um, you know, and I suck at conveying those in the way that I want to. And I think so many people, don't realize that you're supposed to suck at the next level. And people want to achieve greatness and they want to stay there. But understand that if you're great for too long, then you're on the wrong level. You know what I mean? You're supposed to suck. So embrace the
Yeah.
suck, embrace these different things that happen with the podcast, embrace these different things that happen with the book, and just know that you're supposed to suck right now, and you're not going to suck forever. Just keep working and moving forward. And I never thought of it that way until recently, and it kind of helped me feel like I'm not
Love that.
overwhelmed or in over my head.
Yeah, yeah.
Did that even
'Cause
come
it's so
close to
easy to
answering the
feel
question?
that way.
I'm not sure I answered the question. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you tell us about the book and, when do you think when you're gonna have it released or
I'm hoping my birthday today. I'm hoping by my 24th birthday. That's the goal.
birthday?
Um, I don't know the first steps about actually getting it released. So I'm really just focused on that next bite of the elephant, and I'm just writing. I'm just writing as much as possible. When I'm at my kids' game
There you go.
and stuff, I'm writing stuff, and then I go to Starbucks at night and type. I still have a business to run, still have kids and everything, but it's just very fulfilled. So I would say
Yeah.
I'm going to finish it. I would say within that year, and then I still have the editing process, and there's still a lot of unknowns. But as long as I do it right, I don't mind taking a couple years. But essentially, I want that to be content. I'm gonna do a lot of different video type content eventually. If a podcast is a good way to reach them that way, I'm
Yeah.
very passionate about enriching the lives of others, and that's what's going to give me my purpose now. And purpose is obviously so important. And so, however I can do that, I'm not quite sure yet. I just know that's the mission.
That's so cool, man. Honestly, props to you. I mean, it takes a lot for to even just, because people can talk the talk, but to actually even put it in play. And this is like not something that happens overnight. Luckily, we're in a time of technology or resources where you're able to hopefully be able to publish this on your own. And before, probably 10, 15 years ago, that probably wasn't the case. Yeah,
Right.
it's a lot more red tape, I would think, or a lot more cost. But yeah, I'm super. I can't wait to hear about it. It sounds like an amazing story. I'm sure people are gonna love to read about it. It sounds like you have a lot of value and a lot of experience to bring to people, and that's awesome. I can't wait to see the finished product. I'll be one of the first to buy it for
Yeah, I'll
sure.
send you a copy. You won't have to. And even my kids are the only ones that ever get it. I'm trying to really not focus on the monetary standpoint. You know what I mean? Um, just if it comes, great, and obviously we would love that. But when it's a passion project, that shouldn't be the main focus. So even if you and my kids are the only ones that ever read it, I'll be happy.
Totally. You're gonna get so much out of it, like, it won't even matter. You're just gonna feel, "Oh, like, that's awesome." You feel so fulfilled.
Yeah, I can't wait to
Like,
read yours.
like you said. Yeah,
I
what's
can't
that?
wait to read yours.
Oh, shit. I haven't even thought about that.
2028, baby.
I don't really have a story to
Yeah,
tell.
you do. We all have a
Maybe
story to
someday.
tell. I bet you have an amazing
That's
story.
true. We'll see someday. But right now, it's all about you, man. I love hearing about it. So your company is called Newcast Media,
Yeah.
right? Actually, the way Kenny and I know each other is actually was doing the advertisement for me. I'm a real estate agent, does an amazing job, him and his team. I highly suggest anybody who's looking for their company, or if you're a real estate agent, to give Kenny a call. Him and his company, they are just on point with everything. Honestly, the content that they put out, everything like it's all original. It's very cool. It's all one off. It's not cookie cutter like what you see with all this AI stuff coming out. So
Thank
suggest it.
appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, having transitioned from a career in real estate to owning a marketing company for over 15 years, could you share what unique insights this journey has provided you in understanding the real estate market?
Yeah. When I was in real estate, it was, there was no plan. It was just kind of do what everybody else was doing. You know what I mean? If you get lucky enough to have a seller, then you're going to go buy some balloons, drive them, and put them outside for open house. Make some cookies if you're good on it. If you have a buyer, you take them to houses, and I didn't know anything about marketing, so I guess right now, if I was going to do it now, I would only show them 3 houses tops. But there was so much, it's that carpenter's rule, rule twice, cut once. There's so much that I missed about what I was actually selling, what my product actually was. I was thinking people wanted to be in houses, and I had a MLS membership. And so I can find house and without knowing really anything about these people. All I knew about them was measurements and sizes, 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. I don't know shit else about them. You know what I mean? Because I didn't care. All I cared was it 3% or was it 6%? You know, and did they qualify? Really, that's what I cared about at first and foremost. Do you qualify? And I was just looking at commissions and I was like, oh, okay, well, half my friends' moms are real estate agents, and they don't look like they do much, and they drive a decent car, so I'm going to get into real estate. You know what I mean? Uh, so I guess if I were to go back, I would definitely do a lot better at marketing. And I think that can tie us into one of the other questions if you'd like. But what I do right now, if I was a real estate agent right now, after marketing, I quit marketing right now, became a real estate agent. One, it'd be, there's just so much competition. Oh my God, I can throw a rock in any direction and hit 3 estates. You know what I mean? They're everywhere. Okay. So what's your goal with your marketing? Is it to stand out? Is it to be that one sign that, your hair's done just perfectly when they drive by? For some reason they call you, even if they're not interested in that house. Is it a branding standpoint? You know what I mean? What's your goals with your marketing? With me personally, the Pareto's law, 80-20, 80% of your results will come from 20% of your efforts. 80% of your business will come from 20% of your clientele. So, um, with, with marketing, I would even say it's 10-90. So if I had $100 a month to spend on marketing, $90 of that would go directly towards people that I already do business. They would go towards referrals. They would go towards, you know, even the title lady at the title company that makes my life easier by, finding certain things on the back end. The underwriters at the loan, just simple little birthday card. Um, you know, trying to put yourself above the rest. I can understand you can go on a bus, you can go on these different things. From a branding standpoint or a sales standpoint, I don't know many people that want to buy a house and just go see a sign and say, I'm gonna call that person. Everybody knows somebody that does real estate. You know what I mean? So for me, referrals would be where my focus would be. And it would be 90% of my focus would be referrals and not just, hey, if you give me a referral, you get this, but adding value to the relationship on a consistent basis, regardless if they've ever sent you a referral or not. You know what I mean? So, for instance, like with my clients, same rule, 80-20, and it really is with mine. I have real estate agents that will spend $3,000 a month and really they only take about an hour of my time, and then I have other clients that will spend $200 a month and they'll take 5 hours of my time, and so I really try to put 80% of my time on that client, even though they only need an hour, I can spend another 2 hours adding value to what we've already agreed upon. You know what I mean? So I don't have to try to upsell. I don't have to get referrals. I can just create better content. I can pay somebody to create a nice little video that they weren't expecting. Or, there's so many different things that you can do that will one, have them send you referrals, but you're gonna have a client for life. You know what I mean? And the important part is to not do it for that and not look at just look at it as you pay your taxes, you don't get an itemized list, you know, just pay this, have it be a certain part of your budget. Don't expect returns. Do it, as charity. Offer as much value as you can to as many people as you can. Um, and so that's kind of what I would be focused on first, as I'm sure you guys already are.
I totally agree. Referrals are the ultimate goal. You want to get to that point. It's a lot of work on the end and the stuff that people see and like talking to people, other agents on this podcast. Just the work that that goes in with building those relationships and providing, adding value, like they're talking about. So doing dump runs. You're not posting that stuff on Instagram. It's just the stuff that you're just providing value for those clients that are already there because in the long run, you want those referrals,
Right.
but that's what it takes to get to that point, is from what I'm learning, you just gotta work to that point because you're not gonna just because like you said, you could throw a rock and hit a real estate agent anywhere, and so you're not gonna get referrals right away, so you gotta earn that,
Right. Right.
build that up.
And then to take a step further, don't get past wanting the referrals. Yeah.
Totally.
Personally, I would say you have to get to the point where you want the relationship. You know what I mean? Like you truly want to understand that person because you value them like they're your mom, like they're your sister, like they're your brother. Because then it's genuine. You know what I mean? Then you're not looking at that. "Yeah, I haven't
100%.
got many referrals off this person, so I'm not going to send them a birthday party." You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
so much value comes
Totally.
unseen later on. Like so many different things. It's like with sales, I can cold call somebody 100 times. That 101st time, they say they've been wanting to do it the whole time. So like so much of the all
Totally.
results come down the road. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and that's the hardest part. I think that's why there's so much turnover as a real estate in the real estate industry. I think it's like up to almost 90% in
Wow.
the first couple of years that the failure rate. Because you don't see it's not like instant gratification, especially what we are used to now. Like I'm a millennial, younger than everybody, so everything
Right.
just handed to us right then and there. And so with real estate, you're not seeing any results till 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road. And so that's very hard for a lot of people. And then you start thinking you're worrying about you're commission hungry and you're worrying about, getting business and all that kind of stuff. And then you're just burying yourself faster and faster because people can sense that, you're just commission desperate. So
Right.
it just goes, it's just there's so much involved. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right. And what I think would help with that, if I was going to get back into real estate is I don't see why anybody would just be a real estate agent. I mean, I guess because I'm an entrepreneur, you know what I mean? But real estate is just something that if you had five different streams of income, you're not hounding that person because you need that 3% commission. You could take it down to 2% or 1% and get the deal because you're not, you know what I mean? So it's like with real estate, you get paid money and it's good, but really you get paid time. And that's the new wealth. You know what I mean? Money is cool, but time is what's valuable. And, so you have so much time. And I think people, business owners, we get caught and we're always trying to do the most effective thing. You know what I mean? We're very good at climbing up ladders. I wake up before every day. I'll climb up that ladder all day. My biggest thing is making sure that that ladder is up against the right wall. And there's so often that I'm too busy climbing up the ladder that I'm not even looking to see if it's up against the right wall. And I get to the top and
Man, well put.
right, and I get to the top and I'm like, why am I up here? I'm supposed to be over there. So that's what I would say. So you have so much free time if you're going to just do real estate, then yeah, do real estate. But I mean, if there's other stuff that you like, dabble into some other stuff, and it helps kind of free up all desperateness that comes from, having to get a deal.
So right. And I'm not one to put it out there, but that real estate isn't my first, it wasn't first thing that pays the bills for me and my family because I've worked for the state for 12 years now. So I got it, my real estate license when my wife got pregnant. And so that was definitely one of the things that is in saving grace is having that as my main income because I would be a totally different real estate
Right.
person. I'd be
Be
stressed. I'd
coach.
be like, you know what I
Be
mean? It's
calling
just,
me every
oh yeah.
dinner, you know, like,
Oh,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Big time. Like, why aren't I getting leads? All this stuff.
And
So
what happens
yeah,
when you
I'm
push
just,
when you're supposed to pull? You know what I mean? You end up pushing them away. So you would kind of create this vicious cycle of ruining your own business. Um, yeah. So that you did it right. You did it right. And then once one income surpasses the next, then you can decide if you want to leave there or if you like it, you stay there. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of that rich dad poor dad mentality. You know what I
I
mean?
like that. Yes.
I like that.
Yes. My last guest just talking about the Rich Dad Poor Dad book too. So I love it. Hey, not to get off the subject too much, real quick, but about how okay, well, content question. Like you guys, I mean, you're in the perfect field. Like, how do you? I mean, you and your guys, like, how do you get the creative juices flowing? Like, how do you come up with so much original content? Like, is there like a process, or is there just like you just got to get away, and then all of a sudden something clicks? Like, what's your what? I mean, like, I maybe a real estate agent, like, I'm trying to put content out and stuff, but, like, not try to be like everybody else, but it's just so hard to like think of stuff or be original and not be like everybody else, you know?
Right. Yeah. And especially like me, I have clients in Canada. I've had this burger place, Kink's Burgers in Canada for 8 years. Never been there. You know what I mean? And I don't know much about the culture or anything. And I mean, to be honest, the best answer for that is I've been a bullshitter my whole life. You know what I mean? So I've known how to, say what people want to hear and how to articulate things in those ways. So in the beginning, it was just a lot of that. And for me, it was being better than the business owner. Like it's okay if you suck if the business owner sucks more. If you want
Just a
a
little bit
smaller
more.
budget. So that kept me with like smaller to, lower expectations, 200, 300, because I'm still learning this too, but learn together type of thing. So a lot of it was that and just kind of saying things and you mess up. I do it for Cherry Avenue Auction here in Fresno. It's just, they have like 40 something thousand followers. And one time I posted a picture saying it was a tamale and it was an enchilada, and I got so much shit, and people just comment all this stuff. So you just learn through, mistakes. But now what you guys do for content for you personally and people like you need to figure out how to ask the right question because you're not coming up with what to say anymore. Chat GPT and AI is doing that. You're figuring out how to ask Chat GPT the right way so that you get the best answer for what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Because if you have that resource, I've spent an hour on a post and 12 people saw it. You know what I mean? So a lot of it's that as well, so just kind of having a well-rounded, you only have so much time. You're trying to create that system. So what I would say is you get a virtual assistant in India or something that, speaks well. You can and just give them a list of different things that you want to do, have them create the post, find the images. And then what I would be doing if I were a real estate agent doing your own, if you want to do your own stuff, you could build your own website in Squarespace and using that, or you can find a friend that does it. But I would focus on learning like MailChimp or or that other Salesforce, some type of email marketing, because that ties into what we're talking about with the referrals. Because you don't have to call them all the time. If you just have a monthly or a weekly newsletter that goes out. And some of my, one of my clients in Dallas, they work with a real estate agent. They just, every week they'll send out the different things going on in that area, and that's how you kind of keep head of mind. You're not selling me anything. You're not sharing it. You just tell me what's going on in the area and you're keeping front of mind. Or if you sold a
Top of
house,
mind, totally.
right. If you sold a house, then you, like you do with mailers, you just target people in that zip code and you send them an email. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of different things that you guys can learn to do on your own so you don't have to pay somebody like me. You're only paying me to know what you don't know. And a lot of that stuff's pretty easy to learn depending on you know, how much time you want to spend. Then it's all that balance.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. And it's
Yes.
always that balance. When I got into this, I was going to learn web design. I was going to learn this and that. Why? I got tired. But what I learned is to find people that are good at those things and be good with those people. You know what I mean? And that's really the only way you can get all that done.
Dude, yeah, you nailed it on the head. It's like that balance is so hard because at the end of the day, yeah, you could do that. You could do just an amazing job, but that might have taken me like if I try to like let's thumbnail, my own YouTube thumbnail, and I spend 4 hours on it to make it look awesome. Someone can do that in like 20 minutes because they've been doing it forever, and like it's so there's this book that I read, I forgot who's by it, but it's called Who Not What. And basically who can do the things that
Also,
that they know how to do it
yeah,
best and let you focus on what you know how to do
yeah,
best.
yeah.
You nailed that on the head big
And that's
time.
kind of what the problems a lot of business owners have. And let's be real, every real estate owner is a business owner, whether you want to call it that or not. You're
Absolutely.
your own brand, whether you work for Keller Williams or whatever. They're buying from you, not the real estate company. So you are your own company. You have your own brand. Um, I forgot where I was going with that. It's going to be profound. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's all good. I
that's,
had the brain part earlier too.
um,
It's all good.
I forgot what you said right up front because it was tying into what you said. I'm sorry. Um,
Or
yeah.
just who, not
Well,
what.
yeah, yeah.
So
Sorry. So as business owners, it's very hard for us to trust someone else. This is our baby. You know what I mean? You're not going to hand your baby to some stranger to hold. And it takes a long time to build that trust, you know what I mean? And money. So it's like a lot of times I used to tell myself it's easier to just do myself as opposed to writing a detailed list of what to do with this person that I'm already paying. You know what I mean? So it's getting out of our own way in that sense. And that goes back to is that no,
absolutely.
is that will on the wall I
Time.
need to be climbing, you know?
Exactly. 100%. Man, there's this book, dude. I don't know if you've ever read it. I'm pulling it up now. Oh wait, it's like the E Myth revisited for business or something like that. There's like a bunch of series of them, but man, it's really good. It's basically breaking it down to like treating everything as anybody is, whether you're an entrepreneur or whatever, you're a business owner, and everything like you can't everything basically treating it like as a franchise, systematize it. So that way it's like, everything is just streamlined and you're not reinventing the wheel every time.
Right.
And I'm not even finished yet, but yeah, it's really good. It just kind of reminded me of that. Like you can't do everything, and you can't. So it's like finding who can, or finding a system to of people to make it all work because you can't do it all on your own.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And then having the discipline to stick with that system, and then also you always have to be recreating that system, you know. Wow.
Point.
But it's so worth it. I mean, it's definitely worth it, but it's not it goes back to that, how do I do that? How do I create a system? What do I do? Somebody show me, you know. Um, that's why I'm writing the book.
Easier said than done for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So that's life, it's that.
Yeah, I love it. So, I don't know if you've kind of answered this at all, but from your extensive experience in both realms, how do you believe the marketing landscape has evolved for real estate professionals
Evolved since, you know, I mean, so much
over the
with,
years?
the obviously the internet, social media, you know, it's when I was doing it, the internet, I mean, the internet, it was 2004, so still people were still kind of catching on. But, so much was MLS signs and just put a sign out there, hope it stays up, and check MLS listing. You know, I got to check MLS listing, so it justifies why I pay him $250 a fucking month. Jack shit.
Because back then you guys only had to have your real estate license to sell mortgages, right? Like you guys didn't actually have the mortgage license. Like now they have to have a real estate license and a mortgage
Yeah, to do
license.
mortgages, I just worked under our mortgage broker's license, so I didn't have to have any kind of license
Oh,
to do the
got it.
loan side.
Yes.
But then I got a real estate license to do real estate. Yeah, yeah.
I
So I was
see.
able to do them both. Yeah, it was just kind of a natural progression. I was never a numbers guy. I didn't
Sure.
really care about loans. It was just the commissions. I was chasing it. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, of course. And back then, man, the rules were so much more lenient. It was like stated income, basically.
Oh,
Yeah, you can say you made $1,000,000,
yeah,
get the
we had
keys
a
for the
pulse
house like
loan.
30 days later.
Yeah, we had a pulse loan. If you had a pulse, you qualified. You know what I mean? But
I like that. That's the first I heard
it'd be
that.
an ARB. So it'd be some of it would be like 22% right off the bat, or it'd be like 6% for the first 6 months, and then it would go up to like 20%. And we never explained that to these people. You know what I mean? I was just like, I didn't know. And so yeah, a lot of people got screwed, and that's kind of why the market. I mean, that's not why, but so a lot of people did get screwed. But yeah, as far as the marketing changes now, I mean, you guys are so well. I mean, yeah, you have the whole cancel culture thing. You have the whole social media thing, and the online reputation. If you help somebody, one person might hear about it. But if you hurt somebody, 10 people are, you know. So much, there's so much walking on eggshells, and really, you guys have to be, you have to be smart about who you choose as your client, and really doing the work beforehand, just like you would on their credit report to see if they qualify. You need to see if they qualify as individual. You know what I mean? Uh, so there's a lot more things. I guess what I'm saying is there's a lot more things to waste your time now, and so you really have to be. You have to be. You can't just jump on the latest trends.
Oh,
Right.
shiny object
Right,
syndrome.
right. Something's trending on TikTok, so I'm gonna do that. That's not who you're going for. That's not your clientele. You know what I mean? So, um, as far as the changes, I would say email marketing, being able to send emails to them as opposed to the mailers would be the biggest change. We always throw those away, but people still send them. You guys spend a good amount of money to send those mailers out. Uh, like you can send it to my email with some cool designs and something as well. You can target me on Facebook. You can target me on Instagram, Twitter, website. I mean, there's so many different things. So everything has changed, which has made it harder. You have more tools, but you also have to be more conscious of where you spend your time.
It's all the more reason to hire you and your company.
Yeah. Well, that's what I
That's
say.
what to worry about.
I agree.
So, as someone who has a deep understanding of real estate and marketing, where would you allocate a substantial portion of a marketing budget today to generate the highest ROI?
It definitely be just existing business. Existing business.
Like you said
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
Existing business for sure. I wouldn't take an ad out anywhere. I mean, maybe some social media advertising if you have a system in play to where you're spending $50 a month to get new
Organic.
followers, and then you're able to reach those followers, and you have it set for the next 10 years. You're not looking at results. You're paying 150, $200 a month. Set it and forget it. You know what I mean? And you just know you're looking at results, but you're not. It's like the stock market when you buy Coca Cola. You're not checking Coca Cola every day. Yeah, I mean those blue chip stocks you check, every couple months. So
Yeah.
I would say, put towards that, networking events, selling yourself. You know, um, that's the best way. Selling yourself. Raffles, doing raffles, giving away, second on the state football tickets or Panera or just different things where they don't have to do anything. They just get the number. They don't have to leave their email. They don't have to do it's like giving back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta make it easy for them,
Right,
right?
right. And tax write off for you, so different things
Yeah.
like that, like just growing your brand in a positive light, giving back to your community. I'd say put it towards that rather than paying, some magazine to put you next to 20 other real estate agents. Uh,
Thousands of dollars to Zillow
right,
for a bunch of leads that
right.
never pan
And
out.
now something I would do, the way I started is 15 years ago, there's a medical center here named Peachtree Medical Center, large facility. They have internal medicine and with access to pediatrics, urgent care, 30,000 patients that visit on a monthly basis. And we basically installed 12 42-inch flat screens. So they're in all the waiting rooms, main lobby, urgent care hallway, anywhere that patients wait for their doctors. We have these screens, and we run different types of medical educational programming. And then we saw
Okay,
advertisements
okay.
in between those. Now I've had every type of client on there. That's how I started. I mean, I've done that for 15 years, the other stuff for about 10 years, but that would be a good opportunity for a real estate agent. And here's why: it's because you have the captive setting. So if there's a doctor's office in your area and it's a reasonable price, they have full audio, full video, the people are sitting there waiting to their doctors, you have a captive setting, then your message might resonate. Even then, it has to be affordable. You don't want to spend a bunch of money and hope that you're going to get a bunch of results. It still has to be affordable, but because it's a captive setting, if you can get it on a fraction of the price that you would for television, which is smaller, more niche market, then it might be beneficial.
That's pretty cool. That's a good idea. I didn't even think about something like that. How you
Yeah.
find that do that, but I'm sure you just gotta Google it.
Yeah, well, there's I actually, if you go to Recast Media, I own a company that does strictly that. So
Oh,
Recast Media,
nice.
we have I Love Podcasts, which basically specializes in putting people that want to get their message out on podcasts. So like, I don't know if you've heard of Entrepreneur on Fire. Um, yeah,
Yes.
but
Yes,
we had a client
absolutely.
on Entrepreneur on Fire a couple weeks ago. He went out to Puerto Rico, went on that show. We had to pay $3,000 for him to be on it, but he's going to be on it in a couple weeks. So you have that side, and then you have
Cool.
the screen side, which are these, but stadiums, anywhere that these screens are on kind of private networks. If you go to our digital display portion of our website, you'll see our digital display company. So they all kind of dovetail together. But yeah, so someone like you would approach someone like them, and then they would put you into these areas depending on what your zip code desired market.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
so there's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. I didn't realize that you had that many things going on for with your companies. I saw that OF podcast. I just didn't realize. I thought it was marketing for podcast companies, but you're actually getting people on to podcasts
Right,
as like guests and being
right.
for their for business.
Yeah, for host,
That's
yeah,
great.
hosts will reach out to us to bring on new guests, and guests will reach out to us to find them new shows. And then we just work with their liaison. So we'll create a bio for them. We contact the show. We get the calendar leaks, and next thing they know when they're going on the show. And easy, easy.
Very cool, man.
Yeah,
How long you been doing that one?
a little over a year.
Oh,
Oh,
nice. So it's still
yeah,
young.
maybe almost 2 years. When did you go on with Travis on the B Roll show? It was around that time.
Man, yeah, that was probably a couple years ago.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was probably
because
a couple years ago.
probably about 3 months before that, because I gave you that free show, and it's kind of a promotion that we were doing. Yeah, yeah, so it was right around, yeah, it's already been that long.
Right.
Flies by when you're having fun, right?
Ooh. Yeah, I get this. I see it pop up on my Instagram once in a while.
Yeah,
Just the I love podcast
good. That means we're
thing,
doing a
but
good job.
yeah, yeah, definitely. It's out there for sure. Hey, have you found? I mean, 'cause you got two kids, right?
Yeah, yeah, 14 and 7.
What about? So you're in the perfect business for networking and even with real estate before. I don't know. Young then. Did you find that like getting involved with some of their activities was a good avenue of connecting, networking for business, like schools or after school activities and stuff like that? Though it's just kind of organic reach.
Yeah, yeah, I did, but again, I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? Like, and really mortgages helped me with this because before that, I mean, I did stuff. The most money I made is I was in a fraternity and I was selling weed, and I was making like 3 grand a month selling weed, and it was great. Yeah, but after that's when I started doing those loans, and then I started making 15 grand a month. I was like, whoa, like that's a lot of money. I went exempt, so I got it all. I was just balling, right? Unhappiest I've ever been. I was working 9 to 9, had no time to spend the money, had no purpose. My purpose was chasing commission checks. And then you get them. Now you need the next one. What have you done for me lately? No fulfillment, no kid, no, so it's very eye opening for me. So yeah, well, I could have found value in those things, and I did, but I was using the push method in the stuff that I was going for those. And I think that if I did it now, and if I went with a genuine interest in getting to know these people with maybe the idea that I can enrich their lives in some way. in real estate, outside of real estate. Look at me. They have a dog that's the same kind as my dog, and I happen to know something. How can I enrich their lives in some way? Or if not, how can I just learn from them and understand them? Well, I could do that. If that'll give a man a fish, feed him for a night, teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime. I was hunting that fish instead of looking to learn how to fish, and these people have so many different life experiences that they're willing to share that I can learn from, that I don't have to go through. I don't have to be a Jew in the Holocaust to learn what, Viktor Frankl learned and when he wrote Man's Search for Meaning. He wrote a book about it. He was able to describe it all to me and let me feel that and be in there. And these people have similar stories, obviously not Holocaust stories, but their own stories, and so if I'm in there just listening for what point will take me in the next step to that commission check, I'm going to miss a lot of important stuff because the whole time that I'm listening to them, I'm really just thinking about what the best thing to say back would be. You know what I mean? What they would want to hear that would vibe well with what they're saying. And it's not genuine, and it's manipulative. And I have to stop myself from ingraining in life. As a kid, I was manipulative. And so I have to stop myself from saying what people want to hear, and
Yeah,
yeah, especially
sure.
with girls, I really have to make sure that I mean what I say. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, sorry.
Wow. Yeah, I can see how that I mean, it's like that's all you know. Like, growing up, that's like that's how you survive. That's how that's
Right.
the person you were. So like to kind of make sure that doesn't keep coming out, you gotta
Yeah.
keep pushing it away,
What's in it for me?
right?
What's in it for me? She's 68. If I come real close with her, maybe I can work my way into her will. You know what I mean? Maybe she needs life insurance. Like everything, every approach to every relationship was geared around what they could do for me. You know what I mean? And once you flip it, it's a game changer. What can I do for
Totally.
them?
I love
You
that.
want to make $1 million? Figure out a way to help a million people. What can I do for them? How can I help them?
You ever heard, the book, The Go Giver?
I've heard of it. I haven't read it.
It's a good one.
Is it good?
So it's about basically the same thing, just giving back,
Yeah,
you
dude.
know? Um,
I have some really good books to recommend to you, and I'll put together a list. And I would love to hear some more from you because I know that you know.
absolutely.
Yeah, the older I get, the more I just want that knowledge, man. I'm thirsty for it. I'm hungry for it. You know.
I, I had I've had the Audible so I can put
Yeah.
my earphone in, and, when my daughter was young, and bounce her to sleep, so it was, like, perfect, but
Yeah. I got so
I
many
still
books
have it,
on
so I
like.
have lists.
I got so many. Bro, I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had books on like Indian tribes that Joe Rogan recommended that I bought and read half of. But I have so many books in there that every once in a while
That's
my car will
perfect.
break down and I'll have to walk to the gym, but that's when I just calm down.
Great opportunity. Hopefully it's not too hot.
Yeah, right.
Uh, alright, so we're getting towards the end. I think we got room for at least 1 or 2 more questions. So, how do you measure the effectiveness of your marketing campaigns in terms of real estate lead generation and conversions?
Well, with social media, online advertising, most marketing, it's pretty easy in the sense that you just kind of set up KPIs, key performance indicators. So with the client, you'll really want to figure out what results are to them, what we're looking for, how much of the results that they're expecting would be from a branding standpoint, how much of it is the business I get this month. Okay, if it's 80% business this month, 20% branding, what are we doing as a call to action to get business this month? And we'd have to gauge that as well. So as far as the actual metrics, Facebook, Google, they provide that. And then we just kind of break it down and look at, if it's social media, what posts did what got what kind of engagement. We see that people are engaging with this stuff a little bit more than that. So we love more of this than that. But then also, it's depending on what avenue you're doing, it's how far you segment the clientele. Because really, you can segment it down to if they like chocolate or vanilla ice cream, and you can target only people that like chocolate ice cream. So there's a lot, that you can get as far as the detail. Um, so really, that's going to come down to what the client's product is, what their service is, what their long and short term marketing goals are. Uh, but we try to keep realistic expectations, and they're going to directly correspond with their budget. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they always say, if I'll pay $2,000 a month if you can make me 4,000 a month. You know, okay, cool, man. But you can't, like, there's a saying in marketing, I know 50% of it's working. I just don't know what 50%. You know what I mean? So much of marketing is trial and error. And then also knowing what your goals are. If your goal is to brand your message, if you have an event coming up next year and your goal is to brand, well, then you're not going to be looking at how many people visit right now. You're looking at the views. So
Yeah, yeah,
right. That's going to change based off of what your goals are.
makes sense. Yeah, I mean, you're just trying to stay top of mind, then it's a different, you know, expectation or what you're looking for instead of business tomorrow type of thing.
Right.
That so get it. Nice. All right. Could you share a particular instance where a marketing strategy influenced by your real estate knowledge resulted in a significant win for your marketing company? Go
When I
ahead.
got into marketing, I didn't know anything really. I've still never taken a
Okay.
marketing class, you know, but I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
interns from Fresno State that come to me and have me teach them before they graduate. You know what I mean? So it's like it's hard to say because so much of it is collective knowledge. But I know one of the most important things I learned with real estate, and maybe I tied over, was so many things. The reason I stopped real estate was I had 3 deals going and I was broke as shit. And I had 2 deals going. One fell off in escrow uh, because of something. One fell off because there was a back lien and it messed up the DTI. And then one fell off for another reason. So I lost all 2 deals. And I said, I can't have this many outside factors control my income. You know what I mean? Um, so obviously there's always going to be things outside of your control, but I think what that helped me understand was that there are so many things outside of my control. And so that's when I was reading Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and it talks about your circle of influence, your circle of control, your sphere of influence. And so you have your sphere of influence outside of that, and then your sphere of control. And so your sphere of control, circle of control, is so small, but yet we tend to focus and so much of our efforts on that. When we should be focused on that circle of influence. I mean, what can we possibly influence? Well, I want my relationship to change. Okay, well, here's what I can do to make myself better so that I have more influence over those changes. You know what I mean? And so that when that happened with real estate, it really helped me get a little bit better at one, trying to have more control over certain things, and then two, letting not having control have control over from a mood standpoint. You know what I mean? Like stopping myself from throwing a fit every time I didn't get my way. You know, I still gotta do that. Oh,
I mean, we're all kind of the same way. It's just we want what we want, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially when,
Oh man, that's I get it.
yeah, that's why I've come to kind of to love hate with the money. But I think with real estate, if you can just find a way for money to not be a factor in every interaction that you have with any potential or previous or current client, if money cannot be the motivating factor, I think you'll have a lot more genuine relationships, and genuine relationships are what produce referral.
Good way to end it, my man.
Yeah.
You're spot on with that one. Is there anything that we left out, you wanted to cover, you want to talk about?
No, I want to just,
Plug?
I love what you're doing. I love seeing other entrepreneurs. I love that you're, working for the man and working for yourself, building your dream and doing them both. And you're doing what you got to do. You got another one on the way. I know it ain't easy. It's a balancing act, it's a juggling act, and you're doing it. And I'm inspired by you. And so keep it up. Keep up the great work with the show. And I'll be excited for round two. And can't wait to see how far you go.
Appreciate that. I really do. Thank you so much.